Coming up after the break, a Hunter mum takes part in the Mother's Day Classic in Newcastle. Laura Smith knows just how much breast cancer can affect lives. The Hunter mum, who was diagnosed last year after her husband discovered a lump, was among almost 400 people who raised money for the Breast Cancer Foundation by taking part in the Mother's Day Classic in Newcastle on Sunday. Coming up, we'll have your local sport from Newcastle and the Hunter after the break, as the Knights women secure a victory over the Rabbitohs. The Newcastle Knights women's side have all but started their round 3 season strongly with a win against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. It was incredible for the Knights girls in the NSWRL, who proved too good for their rivals right throughout the game. It was massive for the Knights in the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership. That included plenty of tries against their rivals. And of course, by the time that the Knights, of course, had a couple of tries scored, thankfully they were not running out of steam, as the Knights won by plenty of points. They were just too strong for South Sydney. And of course, Newcastle wasn't done yet. They had a couple of tries scored. And also making all of us Novocastrians proud. In more good news for the Knights, they also had a win in the Jersey Flag Cup against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And of course, Newcastle scored plenty of tries in both the first and in the second half of the game. And of course, Newcastle were unbeaten and unstoppable right throughout the game, as Newcastle won 36-10. And of course, good news for the Knights Jersey Flag side, they secured a win. Not only by scoring a couple of tries, but also securing a victorious win as well. To ice hockey, and a Francis Drolet hat-trick fired Newcastle to victory over the Melbourne Ice on Sunday, the second win the North Stars had in the Victorian capital at the weekend. Meanwhile, Drolet, a 32-year-old import forward who reunited with the North Stars after 2 seasons overseas, scored early to help his side to a 3-1 lead by the end of the first period, before adding 2 more in the second. The North Stars won the game 9-2. The big victory came after the North Stars defeated the Melbourne Mustangs 3-1 on Saturday. To Hunter Coast Premier Hockey, and in round 5 of the competition, Gosford defeated Maitland 3-1. While it was good for South Newcastle, but however they were They were defeated 4 points to 2. After the break, we'll have a look at the AFL Hunter Central Coast men's and women's competition, but also other local sports. To the AFL Hunter Central Coast, and in the men's competition, Telgor Avoca were too strong for Maitland, 139 to 38, while Killarney Vale defeated Warners Bay. Meanwhile, there was good news for Cardiff. They defeated Singleton 149 to 6. In round 5 of the women's AFL Hunter Central Coast, Telgor Avoca defeated Maitland 106 to 0. Ouch. And also, the biggest one was, of course, Killarney Vale absolutely defeating Warners Bay 205 to 0. Oh. And also, Newcastle City also secured a win over Wyon Lakes, while Cardiff secured a huge win over Singleton. In the Hunters NPL competition, Lake Macquarie gave Adamstown their first loss of the season, while the Lambton Jaffers killed a win over Cooks Hill United. In the other games, Broadmeadows killed a 4-1 win over Valentine FC, and Charlestown Azuris killed a 3-2 win over Western. And also Edgeworth gave Newcastle Olympic their first loss of the season. In the Women's Premier League, Broadmeadows secured a win over Newcastle Olympic, while Charlestown Azuri beat the Mid-North Coast 1-0. In other games, Adamstown Rosebud and Warners Bay shared the points for all, and also Maitland secured a huge 4-0 win over New Lambton. After the break, we'll wrap it all up with the results of the NHRU, as well as the highlights of the Newcastle Rugby League, as Central Newcastle demolished the Macquarie Scorpions. To round 3 of Newcastle and Hunter Rugby Union, Merweather Carlton secured a win over Singleton over the weekend, and so too did Nelson Bay, who were too strong for Southern Beaches. Meanwhile, the Wanderers continued to pile more pain on Lake Macquarie, and of course the University of Newcastle fell just short of a victory to the Hamilton Hawks. In the women's version of the Newcastle and Hunter Rugby Union, the Wanderers were too strong for the Waratahs, 28-0, while Maitland took down Madawi 97 to 5. And also, Hamilton were too strong for University, 40 points to 0. Well, finally, in the Newcastle Rugby League, let's have a look at the highlights of it. And of course, even though there were plenty of wins, and of course, now let's have a look at one. And of course, Central Newcastle outclassed the Macquarie Scorpions over the weekend.
It'll be Walsh who will
Central Newcastle had to do what they had to do.
The post in the first try of the afternoon to the Central.
And they know what to do.
This was one off originally, but wasn't going anywhere. This is the last, and again, they go to the
and of
sky.
course,
Fact,
the Macquarie Scorpions' popularity was in absolute decline.
And it's a very good
when Central Newcastle scored again.
And they're going to go in to score again, Cameron Anderson.
And they certainly
with the
did.
honours this time.
Leading 12-0, Central
Walsh
Newcastle knew about the tries and the scorings a lot.
It's loose. It's Utah that's dived on it.
And they certainly were. Meanwhile, the Macquarie Scorpions were back on the scoring try list.
And they've got one back. Scorer for Macquarie.
But they left, even though they scored a lot of tries,
and some good hands.
but it was not enough to secure a win.
And they're in again, Macquarie. Which way do they go here?
Central Newcastle were just too good for their rivals right throughout the game.
In the corner, has he got it down? They're excited. 3 from 4 so far. Can he make it 4 from 5?
And of course,
Line is not bad. It's over.
it was a goal kick. That
should just about do it.
Finished the game off.
At St John Oval, so a big win for the Butcher Boys.
Meanwhile, in the other games, Cessnock went down to Wyong, while Western Suburbs' losing streak continues as they went down to the entrance. Meanwhile, South Newcastle secured a huge win over Lakes United. And the Maitland Pickers secured a huge win over Koikoi, 52-0. Now to round 4 of the Newcastle and Hunter Rugby League, and Hamilton secured a win over Budgewoi, while West Maitland beat Waratah, while the match between Maitland United and East Maitland was postponed until at least June 11. In round 4 of the Ladies League tag of the Newcastle and Hunter Rugby League, and Morpeth secured a win over Dudley, while Awabakal secured a victory over Raymond Terrace, while West Wallsend also won, taking down Shortland, and also Cardiff took down the Tea Gardens. And of course, that's it for now. Don't forget, I'll be back tomorrow. Goodbye.